Alright, this is the must-have extra deck. Pretty much it's cards that you should definitely have in your extra deck. They're the most, common XYZ monsters. That's what I'm going with right now. Just showing you XYZ monsters. I use fusions, synchros, and whatnot. Those will come in other videos. Well, these are the must-have XYZs. First off, Gachi. If you make rank 2, unless you're doing Degusa Phoenix OTK, obviously you'll want him or any of the other rank 2s that you want to play with. But Gachi is the most common rank 2 that you'll play, especially if you play agents or something like that, or swap frog or so forth and so forth. Atlanteans, Diva trick and whatnot. You can make Gachi real quick, which gives a 200 attack and defense boost to all your monsters when you start dropping a whole bunch of monsters on the field. Plus, he protects himself. So does Zen Main, Stroke, and even Crimson Shadow Armor. So you notice this is a rank 2, a rank 3, a rank 4, and a rank 5. So these are the main, from rank 2 all the way to rank 5s. And there's some rank 1s that I forgot to mention, but they also have the effect as well. Let's see. I should also add them. This one's a great one. This one pretty much has a similar ability to these other ones, but you can also use Cosmo Queen. I specifically use her. This is a new one, Shine It Magician. She's really good. And of course there's Mirror the Giant Star. So these three right here are really good. I like using them. Anyway, so from rank 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, these are the main ones that self-protect. They're hard to destroy, they're hard to kill, and that makes them great. You want monsters that are hard to kill. And if you're using 2 monsters to make 1 monster, you want the monster to stay on the field pretty long. Me personally, on a personal note, if I have 2 4-stars on the field and I do you about 4,000 or more damage, if I basically cut your life points in half and you're low on life, my rule of thumb is to take those 2 4s and make a stroke. That's just the way I play. So that's, y'all can use that rule of thumb if y'all want. That, even though having 2 monsters is better than 1, the fact that your opponent will definitely try to make a comeback and will definitely try to destroy your monsters, whether by summoning a big monster or dark hole. Rule of thumb, if you already cut their life points in half, they're going to do something devastating back at you. They're going to try to come at you with their best move. So the best thing to do that, to respond to that, is to make stroke. But if you could drop another 4-star and make Shockmaster go crazy and win the game, right? Gachi of course is power boost, plus he can't be destroyed so easily. Same goes for Zen Main, plus Zen Main lets you pop a monster. Stroke, of course, you can book a Muna monster and he self-protects. Same goes for Crimson Ninja, can self-protect himself. Plus he's 2400, so that's really good, and he's rank 5 for any decks that makes rank 5. Here are some cards that you're going to pretty much need, whether it be for this meta or any meta. Just in general, these are really good cards, plus they're generic, of course, so any deck can basically run them, or definitely should run them in the case of this video. Number 50, Black Ship of Corn. You're going to need them because there are monsters like Stroke, Zen Main, Gachi, and even Mirror the Giant Star. They can't be destroyed, so you need an effect that will get rid of them. So since those are really good XYZ monsters, you need basically an XYZ killer, something that can kill them. And Black Ship of Corn is the main weapon of choice. Abyss Dweller, is a new card. It's pretty good. It'll be good in water decks, but it's good because it's generic. Mainly because of its once per turn during either player's turn ability to make graveyard effects useless. So that's good against Dark Worlds and Atlanteans or any other deck that uses graveyard to get an advantage. Wolf, the Terror King. He'll be good when he comes out. He's the XYZ Scrap Dragon basically. You pop a beast or a beast warrior or winged beast monster on your side of the field and pop a card on field. The way I use him is I pop him and pop a card, you know what I mean? Especially if I XYZ summon him, kill a monster, then go to main phase 2, pop him and pop another card, whether it be a monster or a field spell or back roll, whatever, you know. I'm able to get, you know, 2 birds with 1 stone. So he's pretty good. But if you have, you know, obviously an extra monster like a beast warrior or winged beast monster, you could pop them and keep him on the field longer so you can keep using them, you know, over and over again. One good way of using them would be with Manticore of Darkness. Pop Manticore of Darkness, pop something your opponent has, deal some damage. At your end phase, you can send a beast type monster on your side of the field, beast warrior or winged beast type monster from your side of the field or hand to the graveyard to bring Manticore back. So you can pitch a beast type monster and bring Manticore back, so you can have a 2023 on the field, and you can just keep on using that effect over and over again. So that's one way of using them. I just use them as a generic, you know, last hope basically. You know, you drop BLS and you made a comeback, and then it's my turn, and I draw rabbits. Just like, alright, rabbit, boom, make him, boom, pop BLS, boom, BLS out my way. Shockmaster, of course, you know, he's just good in general. There's not much to say about him. You definitely should have at least 1 in your extra deck. It's up to you how many of these monsters you want to have. You can have 3 strokes, 3 Z mains. There's no restrictions to how many copies of these cards you can have in your extra deck. It's up to you, but at least 1 Shockmaster. Swordbreaker, he's just generally good, especially against decks that are based off of 1 creature type. So he's really good for rank 6s. Any deck that makes rank 6, of course, he's good in. Same as Bouncer, you know, to negate your opponent's monster effects. You don't want them to get their effects, so that's really good. Miser 7, he's good because he lets you recycle monsters. You could detach a monster, and the monster you detach, you can add them back to your hand if you want, so you can use them again later. You can return a monster from the graveyard, your opponent's graveyard, back to his hand if you want, or return a monster from your graveyard back to the hand if you want, or just return a monster on the field back to the hand. You know, he's just good all around. It's just up to you on how you want to use him. Good generic rank 8, 3000 plus. He has the ability where you can just pitch monsters on your side of the field or in your hand to pop cards. So he's rank 8 Scrap Dragon basically. So that makes him good. And these are some not so generic, but some are generic, you know, cards that you can consider using. These are some cards that I would use or are using, other than the cards that I definitely have in the extra deck. So these are not necessarily the must-have. These are you should also have. That's what I call it. These are the you should also have cards. Lightning Plover, definitely a good card, especially in a wind deck, because he has a very useful ability. Once he's XYZ summoned, you could target one set card your opponent controls and return it back to the bottom of your opponent's deck, which is great. So that helps getting rid of back roll, or just getting rid of your opponent's set monster. Or let's say you book somebody's XYZ monster, like let's say you book a stroke or something, then you XYZ to make him. Let's say you use Rabbit and bring out 2 Harpy Lady Brothers, overlay both of them and create him. Now you can get rid of his XYZ monster, send it back to the extra deck, send his stroke back to the extra deck, and now you can attack directly from 1900. Again, you can do whatever you want with it. Obviously, when you summon it, you can summon it to get rid of back row, and then use this effect to get rid of an XYZ monsters like Stroke, Zen Main, Gachi Gachi, Mirror, the Giant Star. Anything you want to get rid of. That's a prom. That doesn't even, Stroke is generic. Stroke is most common. You'll use him to get rid of these problemsome and tough to beat XYZ monsters, but obviously Lightning Plover is good in a win deck. It's a stronger version, bait effect wise. Utopia, he's really good, but the fact that somebody can just destroy him with a card effect, makes him not so great defensive wise. Strength wise, yeah, and the fact that he has a chaos form, that's always good. But the problem is if your opponent mind controls or takes control of your Utopia, they can chaos XYZ, and that's not necessarily a good thing. But Utopia is still great, still worth putting in. I put him in. I rarely summon him. I make Stroke more than him because that's basically the way I've been playing. I've been using Stroke more because I need the monster to stay on the field longer. I took 2 monsters to make 1. I wanted to stay on the field long enough to help me win the duel. Gen Pro is great just because he's a generic 2600, so he's just great in general. Steel Storm Roach, pretty good generic monster. But, obviously we all know, people XYZ summons a lot, so this won't have that much play against that, but against anything generic, he's pretty good. Especially if somebody drops JD or BLS, you definitely want Roach on your side of the field to help you out on that. The solid spot on the Sigma, just great in general. He acts like a caster. You can make him just like you make a Shockmaster. I usually have one of him and a Shockmaster in my extra decks, because it depends on which one I want. And sometimes I also have Ouroboros because he's the XYZ Trish, what I mean? Sometimes you just need to get rid of something right quick. And a 2750 beat stick ain't bad. This is a new bad boy right here. He'll end up in most of my deck profiles. So yeah, he's just good. Don't have to explain too much. He negates all other XYZ effects on the field. During your main phase, you can target one other XYZ monster, and then to the end phase, this card becomes a copy of it basically, and you can do whatever you want. Same goes for number 8, Heraldic King Genome Heritage. But he's not generic. You need 2 Heretic Beasts. But if you're running Heretics Beasts, not a problem. You make them left and right, and copy stuff. And derp. The good thing is at least he copies stuff like BLS and whatnot. Monsters that have certain effects that you want to copy. Another great card, but it works good in the Beast Warrior deck because you need Beast Warrior to make it. Also works obviously in the Fire Fist archetype because it's for the Fire Fist archetype. But if you use the Fire Dance spells and traps, it's not a bad monster. For rank 5s, I obviously have Adrius, Keeper of the Armageddon, and you got Tyrus, Keeper of Genesis. These are pretty good rank 5s. They're just good and generic. I mainly use Adrius more often than not, more so than Tyrus, Keeper of Genesis. He's good because obviously he can self-protect, but I don't really use him that much. Usually if I have to make a rank 5, obviously something is really big on the field I need to get rid of, and Adrius suits that much better. For the Haze Beast archetype, obviously this is a great card, or just any archetype that does that you can summon level 6 fire type monsters that will let you make him. Obviously you can probably do a couple little tricks if you want. You can use DNA transplant, so that way all your level 6 monsters will be fire, so you'll be able to make him. So if you have some tricks, like let's say you have some heretic tricks, then you can make him, you know, with DNA transplant, just derp and summon a whole bunch of 6 stars and create him at full power, or just create multiple copies of him. And you know, you can detach and banish a monster from either graveyard or your opponent's side of the field. That's just good. So it's a rank 6 BLS basically. Injector XYZ is a good generic rank 6, mainly because you could just grab a monster from your opponent's graveyard, or your graveyard if I'm right as well. Yeah, from either player's graveyard, equip it and gain half the attack. So that's not bad, especially when you have a really big monster in the graveyard. Number 11, just a generic rank 7, and you can take your opponent's monster, so that's always good. And if you run dark 8-star monsters, you can make him. I'm a big fan of him. Can't wait until he comes out. Number 22, Franken, and he's 4,500. Not much to say. And that is the must-have extra deck.